Yo, what is up, my guys? So today, this video, I have absolutely nothing planned out besides just talking about trades, okay? So what I'm gonna do to create my analysis is I'm gonna go through here and look at teams that I believe have championship aspirations or at least playoff aspirations that are really, really not performing. And we're going to go through, look at their roster, and we're going to talk about what trades they could possibly make. Number one that sticks out to me is the Bucks. Obviously the Heat, but we'll leave the Heat for last. So, just a quick mention. I think the Knicks, they're an interesting team. My question for the Knicks has always been the fit, I guess. I think Josh Hart is an absolutely perfect player for this team. As far as McHale and OG go, they're very. They kind of want to shoot the same shots. And how they get those shots is sort of the same. I would say McHale is much more capable of creating his own shots, as we could see by his time with the Nets. But they still want to kind of work in the same areas. And we've seen OG be relegated to really the fourth option, which is pretty crazy because he's a really good shooter. But it's interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if in a year or two the Knicks aren't making a move. I would be pretty surprised if they do this year. I think it's way too soon. They have a 50 game sample size and it's been good. Like, it's been working very well, I would say. For a new team to be meshing like this, there are definitely some really concerning games there, but that happens especially with new team. This is really like let's be real, guys. The Milwaukee Bucks, they are going to be making moves. So they are playing on a back-to-back today. However, you can see all these players they have ruled out. It's for a reason. Yesterday, I think Giannis still had 30 points, nearly had a triple double too. I just think Giannis yesterday, to me, it seemed like he was kind of testing, not being fully 100% aggressive. And the Grizzlies were, putting bodies on him constantly. And they have so many people that can't stop him, but they make it hard for him and make everything like a ton of effort. So, and again, this is not saying anything bad about Giannis. I would have done the same thing. I probably would have sat out yesterday if I was Giannis, if I'm being completely honest, because I'm one of the best players in the world, and you put this is what you have around me. So the number one thing I see Bucks Twitter, the Bucks fans saying is get Jimmy Butler in here. I don't know how they think that's gonna work. Maybe if you can, if they bring in Jimmy, the Heat don't want Dame. The Heat don't want Middleton. They might take Middleton at this point. Middleton wouldn't be the worst fit on the Heat now that I'm thinking about it. But the Bucks are going to have to add a ton of draft picks. And let me see what they even have. Okay, yeah, the Bucks. I'm pretty sure they can't trade any of these picks. I do believe they can trade this one. The 2026. But you see the 2025. It's done for. Yeah, it is not Milwaukee's. Oof. And you can see like holy shit, they don't have any of their own draft picks basically until 2027. But you see, they don't even own this. They can't trade this. And then yeah, they can't trade the 2028. So the next time they do, 2026 is the only draft pick they can trade that has really a semi decent amount of value. And if Giannis is there and they're upgrading, it's not going to be a high pick because they're going to be championship competitors. So the Bucks are fucked. The GM, the entire franchise has just really made a ton of mistakes. If you guys want, I've been very critical of Damian Lillard since getting to the Bucks, and the fit just isn't good with him and Giannis. It's very unfortunate. And like I've said, Dame before yesterday was playing much better ball, and I still think he is playing a lot better ball than any time he's been with the Bucks. It's not championship ball at all, at all, at all. No chance. So let's just see what picks here have, what players or picks have value. You could get a little for Damian. I think teams know though. Like so, having leverage in the NBA is so important in any aspect of life when you're dealing with another entity. If you have leverage, you are going to get a better deal. People know Damian Lillard and Giannis do not work. Trust me. GMs know, teams know, fans know. So because of that, the price for Dame goes way down because the Bucks have to make a move, or else Giannis is going to ask for a trade. And I honestly could see the Bucks trading Giannis at this point, especially with him being ruled out because they need to win these games. They're 26-21 right now, and they're very shaky. They could easily end up as a play-in team or not even in the playoffs. It's very scary for Bucks, the Bucks. Like yeah, you can see 26 wins. They dropped to 21, they're out. And I don't think the Bulls are in danger, but these teams, 14, 11 to 14, they can definitely catch up to the Bucks. Probably not the Hornets anymore. I'm pretty sure they're doing what I said and ruling out LaMelo for the rest of the season. The Nets, they should tank. But the Raptors and Sixers definitely will be moving up. I, th- I think Milwaukee will end up being a play-in team because if Payola, excuse me, somebody commented, why am I calling him Paolo? It's because I've called him Payola for the longest time because he's been on bullshit. Let me not go into that anymore, but he's back into Payola mode. He just upgraded from being Payola this year, but he's back to Payola. All right. But I do think he'll get back on track. So yeah, the Bucks are in danger. But I say this because they need to win games, okay? And ruling out these players for rest on a back to back, ruling out all of them, it's not for rest, it's for trades. So people who I don't think Middleton really has value because his contract is so expensive. Yeah, you see, Middleton is averaging 12, 3.7, and 4.4 right now. And yes, he is not playing his full minutes, but that you're asking so such a high price tag for somebody putting up such little stats in comparison. I'm trying to find his contract. Okay, so it's a semi expiring. He only has 1 year left at this pretty insane price, but it is a player option, so yeah, no team's gonna give a first for this, in my opinion. And if you can't even get a first for a 30 million player, then his value is very low, and I'm not sure. No, nothing comes to mind, and especially nothing comes to mind that is actually going to improve this roster. Like the the Bucks just need to sell. If I'm being completely honest, get what you can for Dame. Get what you can from Giannis. I mean, you can fully. Teams would probably pay five first and some for Giannis. Five first and a promising young player, and I mean a really good young player. That's what I would do. Sort of like what Paul George was able to get for OKC, except even more. Probably like double is what they could get from Giannis. But yeah, I would trade that. Could probably get a first or 3 or 4 seconds for Bobby or a young player. Brook has looked horrible. I don't know what's wrong with him. Actually, I do know what's wrong with him. He is playing a role he is not comfortable with. It's inconsistent. He never gets the ball in his spots. He's being asked to do way too much. And it's just a horrible fit. You know, Damian Lillard is not. He's like Kyrie. They can get assists, but that is not what they're special at. That is not why they're superstars. Just because they can doesn't mean they should. And that is something that people just do not understand. And whatever. So yeah, Bucks just need to sell. This roster is going nowhere. You have one of the best players in the world, and you look horrible. You just gotta sell everything. There's no draft capital to upgrade anything. There's no salary to upgrade anything. This team is just screwed. So the Magic, they're not gonna make any moves. Um, yeah, just still a very young team. They shouldn't make any moves. The Pistons, excuse me. The Pistons, I could see the Pistons being sellers, at least for Stewart, possibly Tobias, Fontecchio, and Tim Hardaway Jr. Oops, excuse me, Tim Hardaway Jr. The reason I say Tim Hardaway is because Malik is just a better player in every way at this point than Tim. Tim is, you could say Tim adds a little more defensively and is definitely more vet savvy defensively. He's going to be, you're taking a small downgrade on defense outside of on ball, which sounds weird, but Tim Hardaway is great at taking charges. He knows where to be. He's a really much more intelligent player than people give him credit for. But he's not anybody's favorite player, so very few people pay attention to him. But the reason I say that, Malik just moves in the starter, and then Sasser and Ronald Holland both will get minutes. And I think they want that. Plus, Jaden coming back, eventually Asar is going to start. And that's the same reason I say give it to Tobias. Asar is going to pretty much start from here on out. And I know they want Ronald getting more minutes as well. And the reason I say Stewart, I mean, you guys know all the issues he brings to a team. But Paul Reed is a better player than Stewart, in my opinion. Stewart probably is a little better just in straight up post defense, but Paul Reed is serviceable there, and everywhere else, Paul Reed is a much better player than Isaiah Stewart, and you don't have problems. So that's the Pistons' outlook. I doubt they'll do anything besides be sellers. I'd be shocked to see them buy anything. Maybe they could upgrade at power forward, but again, like I know they want Ronald to get more minutes, and Asar is finally coming into his starting role. So, yeah, Tobias. If they could get a first for him, I would say do that immediately, or a younger player. Although I think Tobias being just a vet presence there has made a big difference on this team. So. Tobias is a great defender as well. People don't know this, but he's like, you guys hear me talk about people being coaches on the floor all the time. Tobias is for sure a coach on the floor for this team, and I think he's valuable in that aspect. So I personally would keep him unless I got like two first or really promising young player that I love that is going to be a great fit for this Pistons core. So this is probably what a flashbang! Wow, this is probably going to shock some people, but I do think the Celtics should make a move. I think they should trade away Peyton Pritchard. They could get a really good haul for him, I think. Like two first, good first. He's a very promising young player. Offensively, he's excellent. Uh if we rank pure offense, I'd probably rank him in the top 40 in the league or something. He is an incredible offensive talent. And the Celtics, they just have so much offense, and they need a athletic, agile, defensive big, like Robert Williams III, the Time Lord that they trade away. It is a gaping hole in their team right now. It is really bad, and it was really exposed versus the Sixers. And I think Joe Mazzulla went about trying to hide that the wrong way by having both Porzingis and Cornette guard whoever was at the 4 on the Sixers. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Maybe it was just a test, but it was a big failure. They need an agile 5, though, that can just come in and play defense and dunk it and get rebounds. So I could see the Celtics buying that. I definitely think they should. If Xavier Tillman could stay healthy, he kind of is that. He's older, but, that's what he does. He's not a good defender, though. especially now that he's older. Nah. He's good, but not great. Keita is still too raw. Keita fits exactly what I'm saying. He's nowhere near championship level ready, so you can't rely on that. You just can't. But yeah, I really think the Celtics should sell Pritchard and get a better Keita basically, and then they are, championship competitors for sure. They're championship competitors now, but I think I wouldn't bet on them to win the championship unless they make a move. Also, Peyton Pritchard is kind of just rotting, and even when he does get minutes, he's what, the third, fourth option. He should be a number one option. Maybe 1B option at the least. He is that good. So it would be interesting to see. So the Bulls are a really interesting case because, I mean, just you just look at this shit and you're like, okay, what is going on here? This is so post Zach LaVine trade. It's looking really weird. Io at the 4 is literally insane. Literally 6'5", 200 at the 4. Bro, what are we doing? So they are definitely going to make a trade. I think Giddey has a lot of trade value, actually. He's played very well this season. I don't think the Bulls are going to trade him. I think they see Giddey as a player they want to build around in the future. I think Lonzo is probably up for trade. I don't think he will be traded because his value is too low due to injury. He still hasn't proven he's back to 100%. Kobe White is interesting. He's had a really up and down year, but a down year overall. I think part of it is just being on this fucking team and having the coach he does. My God, it's just a disaster here. Patrick Williams actually has a lot of value, in my opinion, because you won't have to pay too much for him, and he's an excellent defender, and he's shooting 40% from three, I believe, this year. Okay, yikes, holy shit, was I wrong? 36, which is serviceable, very serviceable. I think it's on a much higher volume. Let me check. Yeah, much higher volume, taking 4.6. But yeah, last year 40, 40, 50. The volume increased in a pretty significant downturn. So you guys might be like, oh, that's only 3.2, 4.2%. That's more than a 10% downturn, guys. And you got to look at things like that. What is it, like 13% or something? That's significant. And going to a better team, they're going to want him to be just a straight up 3 and D guy. I think he's a good defender, very underrated player overall. But wow, he's a fourth overall pick. Wow. They did just pay him too, which hurts a lot because he got a pretty good contract. So good contract for him. So that makes him hard to trade and lowers his value even more. No idea what the Bulls should do. Obviously, they should trade Vooch. Nobody's going to pay anything for Vooch, though. Mainly because I don't see... He's so old, and his defense has really taken a big downturn, and you really need a paint protector in the modern NBA. Because you have to defend the three so much, and people are just going to get by you. So you need somebody to protect the paint. Vooch can't do that. Um, don't even know where he could end up. But yeah, the Bulls, they're done for, man. Such a poverty franchise. And we go and look at, this is the Bulls draft capital. Protected 1 to 14, which means Portland gets it back if it's a lottery pick. They have a second round pick this year. Basically, that's it. They did get back their own pick for 2026. The only thing they've really added is a 2026 second. I do believe if Portland gets this pick back, the next one it'll be less protected than this. So I don't think it'll be good though, because Portland is really coming on strong and they have a ton of talent. So just the Bulls are a poverty franchise. It is what it is. They're horrible. They're managed horrible. They have nowhere to go. They have no future. Their future is in Josh Giddey, Kobe White. So yeah, I mean, you guys make your own assumptions about that. To me, that's horrible. The Hawks are a very interesting team. Clint Capella is obviously for sale. Bog is obviously for sale. I doubt they're gonna get much for Bog. Clint maybe can get like a later first at max. Let me see his contract. Ugh. If he's on an expiring contract, they can probably get a later first. Bog has a pretty bad contract, especially with how he's played this year. They're not gonna get shit for him, really. Um, Outside of that, I really like ATL's roster. I think they're going to continue to develop together, and I think they have a many promising young pieces. So I think they just, sell Bog and Clint for what you can, build up as much draft capital as you can, maybe get trade it all for one more really good player, and yeah, they're pretty much set and to be a competing team from here on out. Okay, Raptors. I don't see them making any moves. Maybe sell Pirtle, maybe sell Olynyk too. They've proven this year. Also Bruce Bound. These are all guys you probably will get like 3 seconds for with the current market. Maybe more for Pirtle if they do find somebody who wants him. The problem is I don't think any team really wants Pirtle considering his contract and age. So I think again the Raptors just stay the course. They have a lot of young talent. Just continue to let it develop, and that's it. So the Sixers are actually really interesting, but I mean we all know the situation, guys. Injury prone, and the definition of not playing games in fraud. When I see the Sixers, they play better without Embiid. It just is what it is. They actually play like a team, and this team is never gonna win a championship. I don't think, unless Embiid truly stays healthy for like a whole entire season, playoffs included, besides from back to backs. And you would have to be insane to think that is a probable thing. Like you can't betting on that would be so stupid. Thinking that would be a likely outcome is just ignorant. So I really think trade everything you can and build it around Maxi. That's what I would do, because this team is going nowhere fast. You guys know I'm a big fan of Bona, Council, Tyrese Maxey. You guys know Edwards looks like a really good player, and I'm a fan of Yabu, who is older, but he's fine to keep there. Obviously McCain. Yeah, Sixers just need to sell, and the problem is they're gonna want a ton of value for at least Embiid, and nobody's gonna pay that because of injuries. No, so they're kind of Sixers just have dug their own grave, and they just gotta lay in it, and it is what it is. That's one of the reasons I don't like. I think Paul George is a fine fit for this team because you have Embiid too. Like they're both injury prone. It's gonna be to win a championship, you need both Embiid and Paul George to be healthy. At least Embiid to be healthy, and then Paul George is kind of like a bonus. So it's like, it makes sense for them to sign Paul George to me because it's already unlikely for them to win championships. So yeah, Kelly Oubre probably has some good value. Yabu definitely has good value if they want to sell him, which I doubt they do, but they should. Drummond, maybe they could get 2 seconds, 3 seconds for him. Who knows? Really tough situation, but they should sell 100%. I doubt they will because, again, they're going to want a specific value for Embiid. Maybe the Bucks trade Giannis for Embiid, and that could be interesting, but that is like, who knows? And the Bucks again, they are in the same boat. They should sell, but I doubt they will because they're just gonna want too much, and no team's gonna give it up. Especially with how things are looking now, Giannis probably will not sign with the Bucks again, and he may even ask out. All right, so that concludes the East. So let's go to the West. So the Thunder, they should not make any more moves, unless you always look to upgrade for the right price, but they don't need to force anything at all. You guys got to remember, they're missing Chet still. They don't need to do anything. The Grizz don't need to do anything either. The Rockets, interesting team. So, Fred has no trade value right now. he's been in a shooting slump for like a year. And at that point, it's like, you're in a slump, buddy. What's going on? But tons of young talent. Reed Shepard is fourth on their depth chart, and he was their the third overall pick. So that should tell you how deep the Rockets are. And there's really nowhere they can even upgrade. And this list also does not have Jabari Smith Jr. on here. What honestly, they need to get a backup center. So that could be a move the Rockets could make, but I don't think they need to do anything. Steven Adams has looked horrible this year. I have no idea what's wrong with him. And Jock, I was high on him. He has looked absolutely horrendous this year too. So I don't know what's up. I thought both these guys were great backups for this team. No, I was very wrong. I have no idea what's up. Alright, we're going to get into a team that actually needs to make moves. The disaster Nuggets. Even though they're 30-19, they're going nowhere fast. This starting five, it looks great on paper. When playoff time comes around, they have no chance. So, the Nuggets. Oh, Aaron Gordon. Let's just start with what the fuck. Aaron Gordon, what the fuck. I'm so glad they gave Russell Westbrook a chance. It's disgusting what so many people, the majority of people, vast majority of people were saying about Russell, and they're just shitting on him. And dude, you guys just have never watched basketball, and by you guys I mean the people saying that ignorant bullshit. You're literally ignorant and dumb and stupid, just whatever. But he is the only reason the Nuggets are doing semi-decent this season. Of course, outside of Joker. Of course. I know I have to fucking say that because they're, again, the very same people shitting on Westbrook. So, Jamal Murray, huge inconsistency issues. Defense is bad. We'll see if he has to be the blue arrow, or else they have no chance. And it's hero ball. To be the blue arrow, he has to be on fire, taking hero shots constantly, and he doesn't need to do that. He just doesn't. He can't seem to figure out how to play off ball and get open. In the same sense that Steph and many other good shooters do. Even if he would just play like Buddy Hield with Joker, dude, he'd be doing so much better, but instead he takes the hardest shots. Michael Porter Jr., he always seems rushed. He always seems like he just doesn't fit on this team. I think, a lot of times he won't even get 10 shots a game, guys, because Jamal is jacking up so many. It's bad. It's bad. And Jamal is not looking to make people better. I'm extremely disappointed in Jamal this season, guys. I just can't believe he's playing so poorly. And you might say, oh, look at all these games where he shot so well. And it's like, okay, well, look at all the games he's been the reason they've lost. Okay. Losing KCP, the lasting effect is still... There's nothing that's going to fix it immediately. I really could see Jimmy Butler on this team. I think Jimmy Butler is a great fit. He'd be a forward for sure on this team. And then you have the concern, it's like, okay, either Aaron Gordon needs to shoot a great percentage from three on high volume, and or Michael Porter, is going to have to shoot a lot more threes. And again, it's like, we haven't really seen Michael Porter be consistently like that in the NBA. But I do like the Jimmy Butler fit here. If I had to pick a team that is best for Jimmy, I would say it's the Nuggets, because they do need that defensive presence like him, a defensive captain. And that should be Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon just is not... Something is up with him. Pretty sure it's all health related, but I mean... He is not himself right now, and he has not looked himself this whole season. And again, I do think it is injuries, but still, you got to take that into account. You're chasing a championship with Jokic in his prime. The good about the Nuggets, obviously Jokic, Peyton Watson, Christian Braun, and Strother are all hits. Zeke Naji, you can see he's buried here. He has not developed to this point. I don't think he's going to. They were playing Hunter Tyson over Zeke recently, so that's very bad for Zeke. However, hitting on these, Christian Braun is an excellent player. Strother, I really like, and he's still very young. Peyton Watson, I really like as well, which makes honestly, all three of these guys expendable or tradable is what I should say. So I do expect the Nuggets to make a move. We'll see. I'm not sure what it's going to be. I definitely think one of these two is going to get traded. I don't think Jamal is tradable due to his contract. I can't remember if he's on a supermax or a max, but nobody's going to pay that with how he's been playing this season at all. No one's paying that. Unless they're sending back a player that is not playing well this season on a max contract as well, like Chris Middleton. I do not like Chris Middleton's fit for this team, though. He might be okay. There's a lot of ifs. Okay, let's just say that. So the Nuggets, I do expect them to make a move. I do think Jimmy Butler, since he doesn't want to go to the Warriors, I would say the Nuggets are the favorite for Jimmy Butler. We'll see though. And that leads us right into the Heat. Okay, I somehow missed the Heat. Oh, Jesus Christ. The Heat in the East. Don't ask me how I missed that. Pretty much, I think everybody but Bam, Khalil, and Hero are tradable for the Heat. I would like the Heat to keep Jovic. I think he's a great player, and I don't think they could get proper value for him. But Jimmy Butler's definitely gone. If they keep Jimmy past the trade deadline, that would be one of the most insane things the team had ever done. And it's pure ego by Pat Riley, and that's not good. I'm a big fan of Jaime Jaquez and Haywood Highsmith as well. Terry, they're probably going to get... They can't trade him. With the looming FBI investigation and just his play this season, they can't get anything close to what they paid for him, unfortunately. I'm a big fan of Terry, but yeah... Duncan, teams will play for Duncan. Just a three-point shooter who moves a ton off ball. A lot of teams could use that. I could see them getting a late first for Duncan. Haywood, maybe a late first to the right team. Jovic, I don't think teams know enough about him, but he's for sure worth like a mid first. For sure. He could help a lot of teams, but that's why I think the Heat will keep him. If they play Bam, Khalil, Jovic as their front court, in their zone, that is going to give a ton of people problems, especially with Hero. And if they can get a super athletic shooting guard to play at the top of the key, their 1-3-1 zone, that would be a very, 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 very scary team. So we'll see what the Heat do. They're for sure trading Jimmy. I expect them to kind of look more towards draft capital. But there is this spot, for a shooting guard, an elite level shooting guard. Tyler Hero can play combo guard. He can technically play two, for sure. I think you want him at this point, though. I think you want him being your main ball handler from guard. And obviously, Bam is an excellent ball handler. Jovic is. Haywood Highsmith is. Khalil is showing promise already. And I think he is fully capable ball handler already at center. And I think he's only going to get better. So, yeah, I think they just need a really strong defensive guard that shoots threes and knows how to play zone defense, which is kind of... Zone defense has died for a long time because of the rise of three-point play, but teams are finally seeing the value in it, especially when you're against mismatches. So nobody comes to mind. Oh, I would love Scoot here, actually. I think that's a great pick. Getting Scoot here would... I'm not sure how that trade will work, though. Jimmy, you get back Scoot and draft pick maybe. Probably have to include Jeremy Grant for salary. It's not the worst trade. I'm not sure if the Blazers do it, though. That'd be interesting. But yeah, that Heat Blazers, that's an interesting trade. It fits for both teams, so I don't think that... I guess that's the thing. Jimmy is not going to be willing to re-sign with the Blazers, so that won't happen. And like I was saying about leverage, the Heat doing this shit, suspending Jimmy, it just loses them leverage. They're only hurting themselves by doing this. It's so stupid to me. I don't know, guys. They've literally lowered their trade value by continuously suspending him. So they've hurt themselves more than anything, and I don't know what to say. But I think we all know Jimmy's gonna get moved. Um, I did actually do some research a little bit. This will lead into the Warriors too, but this is pretty crazy, and this is actually the wrong thing. I think. Okay, I have lost the quote or article piece, but basically it said Jimmy is unwilling to re-sign with a lot of teams, including the Warriors. So he's pretty much killed that trade himself. And again, this is why you don't give players or lose leverage at all. You doing stupid shit like suspending players that you're looking to trade, just not smart. If the Heat really had other reasons like, oh, we don't want Jimmy to get injured, just sit him out for injury or for trade. It's that simple. And because that signals to other teams you're willing to keep him if he doesn't get traded. Right now, you cannot make it. The Heat have told everybody through their actions they are not going to play Jimmy Butler ever again for this team. So they lost leverage. So the Clippers are really interesting. I think they're going to keep this team together. They could make a little noise in the playoffs. They're not a championship contender unless they see some huge growth from like Zoo. And Zoo is a very good player now. Top 50, I would say, for sure. It's just, there's so much inconsistency on this team. Always will have injury concerns dealing with Kawhi. Need Derrick Jones Jr. basically to score 20 points per night. And need Norman to keep playing at a very high level. Norman is probably a top 40 player this season. I would say Norman has been the best player on the Clippers. If you're like, what? How is that? He's been playing very, very, very good defense. He's shooting extremely efficient, and he's playing just the best ball. I never thought he would play ball this good, especially defensively, but offensively too. Just perfect, perfect. Terrence Mann, I could see getting moved, so I'm actually gonna make a video about this. I'm gonna wait till after the trade deadline, but Ty Lue is just, he hates Terrence Mann. Even though the front office, the GM, the owner, all have said they believe in Terrence Mann and want him on the team and want him playing, Ty Lue refused to pay him. And that leads me to my main point about this. This is going to be Ty Lue's last year with the Clippers unless they win. And that is why this roster will stay the same, because Ty Lue, this is what he wants. And he thinks he can win with this. And I think he has absolutely no chance to win with this, and I think Ty Lue is a horrible coach. I expect him to be fired after this year, unless they do really good in the playoffs, which they will not. So, yeah, Clippers just need to reset. Really sad to see how far they've fallen. I do think they have good draft capital. I can't remember 100%. Okay, nah. OKC owns they have horrible draft capital. Okay, the Clippers are probably franchise. They're done for. So let's get into the Phoenix Suns, and in particular, Bradley Beal, which I'm pretty sure we all know. I have no idea what they're going to do, what they can even get back. It's not going to be a lot. I think Bradley Beal is still I think Bradley Beal, in the right circumstances, can still put up top 25, top 30 numbers. Is he that good, or is it kind of inflated stats just being the main guy? It's an interesting question to propose, and it's hard to say. It can be really hard for players to recover from going through what Bradley Beal has with the Suns. It's not his fault. It was just really dumb for the Suns to ever do this. And I do have a video coming up talking about how the Suns have fallen from seriously the NBA Finals to what the fuck are we looking at. And the craziest thing is I love what they did getting Nick Richards. Ryan Dunn was a good pick. Iguodala looks like he has a good future. Nurkic was horrible, absolutely horrible. Um, Grayson Allen, obviously a really good signing. Royce O'Neal, I think fine. I think they got him for a second. I think that's really good. Ryan Dunn, I think is a great pick. So they've done some really good things. It's just the fit with Beal is horrible, and obviously they need a three or center. Nick Richards would be kind of okay until you think about the playoffs and think about what centers he may have to go up against, and then Nick Richards is a good, very good backup, is what I have always said. I've watched a ton of Nick Richards play, since you guys know I love LaMelo and B Millie. He's a very, very good backup that can come in every once in a while and give you really, really good starter minutes. But he is not a starter. He's an old school center. So you guys know what limitations those old school centers have, and with how athletic the league is now, especially people playing smaller, they need an athletic center. They pretty much just need a Jimmy Butler would be a great fit here, but the Heat are not going to just straight up take Beal for Butler, I don't think, especially considering Beal's contract. Yeah, the Heat are not going to take this. 160 mil left over the next 3 years, so it's like 2 years, 55 mil per year left after this one, and a no trade. They're not going to take that. The Suns would have to give so much up to bring in Jimmy for this, just straight up. Like, I don't even think they have draft capital to do it. But also, with Beal having the no trade, like, it's a really tough situation for the Suns. They're not going to trade Booker. They can't trade KD. They need a forward. Beal could play the three, but he's going to have a lot of matchups on defense where he's just going to get pounded, and it really takes the Suns out of championship contention. So, surprisingly, Beal to the Knicks for McHale and getting McHale back, I think that would be a good trade for both teams. I'm not sure if the Knicks would be willing to do it. I think the Suns again would have to somehow scrape up draft capital to give the Knicks, and even then, it's like, dude, Beal's contract is just so expensive. I don't think the Knicks will do it. But just thinking about player for player, how they fit, Beal is a much better creator than McHale. And McHale, again, he can create, especially if he's the number one option ball carrier. He can get triple doubles. He can be a 10 assist guy. However, Beal is just a much better passer, and it's like second nature to be able to be like a combo point guard. I'm sure you guys know that. So that's very interesting. I actually like that a lot. I don't think the Knicks should do that unless they get a ton of draft capital with it, and because the Knicks have all the leverage. Again, it's the same as Jimmy. People know that Beal has to be traded. Same with Nurkic. People know Nurkic has to be traded. They're not going to pay a lot for them. It's just never lose leverage in life, guys. All right. I can't tell you guys where I think Beal will end up, especially with his no trade. If I had to guess, I think he's gonna, because of the no trade clause, guys. I really don't know if they're gonna be able to move Beal, which is such a damn shame because they're going nowhere. This team is going absolutely nowhere. Just a completely failed experiment. And you guys always will hear me say, these guys want to do the same thing. And I do want to clarify. So my initial comments, just on my initial comments about the Luka trade, if I said they want to do the same things, I did clarify a little more. But I do think LeBron and Luka are a great fit because just they're both such great passers. Like, neither Booker or Beal want to be a pass first guy. Both Luka and LeBron do want to pass. They want to get assists. They want to make their teammates better. And that is just such a great fit. It is so. I can't wait to see the Lakers play. I've been like a Lakers hate watcher. I think it's really funny to see the Lakers lose. Now I will be going for the Lakers. I love Luka, and if I have nothing but respect of the highest level for LeBron at this point in his career to do what he's doing, dude. You guys, when you get older, you'll see how crazy it is for LeBron to doing what he is. It is truly impressive. But yeah, Suns are fucked. They're just fucked. I'm just gonna say what it is. I hope they can get a good trade. I doubt they will. So the Timberwolves, I don't think they're gonna give up on the Randall trade yet, and nor do I think they should. I think Randall and Ant-Man are a great fit. I think as long as they start DiVincenzo, I think this team is very, very, very scary and can make a championship run. I do think I think they should get a backup guard that can play like 2, 3, 4. A player that can play the 2, the 3, and the 4. Nala's okay. He shouldn't be. They're relying on him to score, and they can't do that. He's not that. And you guys have seen, I made a video a while back just explaining Nala is great when he can take good shots. When you start putting the pressure on him to create good shots, to create his own shot, he's not good. That is not his calling. He's a great defender. He's a good all-around backup player. He's not an offensive guy. And I really like Josh Minot, or I think it's Minois. I'm not sure. I'm going to call him Minois because I like that better. So I definitely think they should play Minois over Null, especially right now, getting him these extra minutes of experience. Rob Dillingham has already proven to be a very serviceable player. Nasri, great. Luka Garza, really good backup just in case. If Rudy gets hurt, Luka steps right in to face like true bigs, like 7-footers that are strong. Nas is truly a 4 that can play small 5. That's it. But this team is scary, very scary. So I cover in the Mavs a bit in my AD trade video. They need to get a point guard, really, unless if they really think that Dinwiddie is going to be a championship point guard, they're fucking psychotic. I really like Dinwiddie. I think he's a great backup that can start. He is not a good defender. He is not strong, okay? Let's just say that. He's going to have a ton of trouble with so many of the guards on defense. Again, Klay Thompson, really, you're telling me he's going to be your defensive stopper. Kyrie, people are going to cry over this, but Kyrie is not a good defender. He gets steals. Getting steals is not being good at defense. He is going to get absolutely cooked by the guards in the playoffs. I do really like Jaden Hardy. I think he's a better defender than Dinwiddie and Kyrie still. It's like, dude, you're not a defensive stopper. Max Christie has shown some promise on defense, and Grimes too. Although, like, dude, when you talk about the guards they're going to have to go against, they cannot take them. So, yeah, really, really, really scary. I don't know. The Mavs are an interesting team. They should 100% bring in a point guard who is focused on creating for others and good at defense. Can they get that? I doubt it. And I don't even think they're going to try. I think the Mavs GM is so delusional that he thinks this is truly a championship team. If this was like 6, 7 years ago, hell yeah, this team would this team would be scary as fuck. This is 6 and 7 years later than that, so okay, you guys get me. I do think they're a dangerous team to play in a best of 7 against certain teams. Against most teams who are gonna be in the playoffs, they're not scary at all. Okay, so it is what it is. All right, the Kings. If there's one player I really do dislike, it's Zach LaVine. Effort is completely inconsistent. He doesn't give a fuck. Constantly shoots bullshit shots. Never plays for his team. I really dislike seeing him play. And seeing this, if this is real, and Keon Ellis is now buried as third string, I want absolutely nothing to do with the Kings. This lineup is very bad. No stopper at guard. Same thing I said against the Mavs. They're going to have no chance stopping the guards in the West, let alone the NBA Finals, if they were to make it. Keegan, you guys know how I feel about him. Great defender. What is this? They have no backup 4, really. Trey Lyles actually would be the backup 4, but the rotation is going to be murky. They're going to have to stagger all their starters. Malik Monk and Sabonis are really their only creators. This is horrible. they need to sell. They need to sell everything they can. Obviously, besides Keegan, I would say Keegan and Keon, but if they have Keon, if this is truly from the Knicks front office and they value Keon this little, this franchise is just poverty, bro. They're going nowhere fast. I do expect to see a downturn in Sabonis' stats. Now not playing with Swiper, dude, it makes things so much more complicated for the entire team. It's everybody now. This team is just all around worse than they were. They did get back a huge haul, so this is why I do think they just need to sell. Keegan is a great piece for the future. Keon is a great piece for the future. Devin Carter to be determined. From what I've seen from in his rookie season, no. He is not that guy. It is his rookie season. So nobody should put any onus, any type of weight on anything that is happening to any rookie in their rookie season unless they're doing really good. Because they can change so much in the next 2 or 3 years. It would be stupid to write anybody off as a bust this quickly. Malik is 26, 25, 26, something like that. I think 26. Older, aging, just sell him now. You're going to get they could get 2 or 3 firsts for him. Probably a first for DeMar. Can't trade Levine since he was traded for multiple players, I believe. Doesn't matter. Sabonis, trade him for 3 or 4 first rounders. Let me see how old Sabonis is, actually. Okay, yeah. Sabonis will be turning 29 this year. They need to sell him. He doesn't fit. Keegan, they just need to go in full rebuild mode. They just got 3 extra first round picks. They just need to go in rebuild mode. This team is going nowhere. They're not going to compete with any of the best teams in the playoffs, let alone the West. And my God, when you talk about the winner of the East too, they have no chance. No chance. Okay, so the Spurs, I believe they will try to trade Chris Paul. The Blazers, I'm not sure. I think Jeremy Grant will be up for trade. They'll probably try and trade and get even younger. That's about all. I like Jeremy Grant going back to Denver as well. Denver needs defensive help really bad. They're just in so much trouble. The Pelicans, they need to sell. They need to trade Zion for. They just need to trade Zion, guys. Zion, and I don't even know what they can get. So maybe they don't need to trade Zion. They need to make trades though. The Pelicans have to trade. I'm not sure what they should do. They are in a very bad position. They have talent. It doesn't fit together. Their injuries are out the ass. Their players are just injury prone. Zion won't stay in shape. I don't know what to say, guys. I don't even want to look at it because I don't even know. It's an absolute disaster though. They're fucking horrible. The Jazz are. Laurie is having the worst season of his career by far, which is very, very, very surprising to me. Sexton is playing excellent ball. They could get 2 or 3 firsts, probably 2 firsts for Sexton. Maybe 1 really good first and a few really good seconds as well. I think they should do that immediately. They can probably make some other small trades, but yeah, I think the Jazz are obviously sellers too. They have many young pieces to build around, so it's not horrible. And the Spurs, they're just gonna stay the same. Sell their old pieces. Paul, Barnes are definitely up for trade. Will they get traded? I'm not sure. It wouldn't be bad to keep either of those vets just to continue to teach these young players how to play. And they're not out of the playoff race at all. The Kings are gonna start going down. The Mavs will start going down. So there's a way to get to the play-in. I do expect the Warriors to get in the play-in as well. Okay, and I saved the best for last. We got the Warriors, so this is pretty crazy, guys. The Warriors are a very interesting team. They have young players. The Schroeder trade. So what they expected to happen with Schroeder was trade three seconds for him and then trade him for first round value, and he tanked his value playing with the Warriors. And that's the thing. Golden State with Steve Kerr, they are going to play Steve Kerr's way, or you're not going to play. And that is, some people really like that and thrive in that. Some people absolutely do not thrive in that and do not want to play there. Jimmy Butler obviously does not value that. I think that's the reason he doesn't want to play for the Heat anymore, is both Spoelstra and Pat Riley are so micromanagement heavy. Like, they're just constantly trying to move people like puppets. And yeah, Players, I wouldn't like that, bro. I would, you know, having a game plan is great. You have to be able to play free sometimes. That as long as people aren't constantly playing ISO hero loser ball, you definitely want people playing free. You don't want to have to draw up absolutely every play. You want people to be able to freestyle plays, understand how everybody is moving. If somebody does this, like the ball handler is running pick and roll, you want people to be able to rotate across the fucking court properly. You want people to help each other out and make each other better without having to draw up a play every single fucking time. Obviously, there's a mix where you need to draw up plays sometimes, and you should draw up plays. I think at least 10 to 15 times a day, you should run plays. At least. Absolute fucking minimum. That's what I would do. At minimum. And probably minimum 15 for me. Absolute fucking minimum. I'd be drawing something up every single time out, every single break. I'd be drawing something up unless there's something more important that I need to focus on, like an adjustment or a defensive scheme or like, making other little adjustments. But yeah. This is Shams, by the way, not McAfee. I do really like McAfee, but Shams is the one who reported this. Beal to the Warriors honestly makes sense. It's a lot better fit than Beal to pretty much anywhere else. Beal to the Heat, I really don't hate it as much now I'm thinking about it more. But it's just such a high price. Like, you're putting a lot into it. And then the thing you get into, okay, well, if we trade out Beal, we trade for Beal, and we're the Warriors, the Suns are going to want draft capital. They're going to want a young player. And it's a lot. So I value pods a lot. If they're, like, willing to take Moses Moody and a couple draft picks, I think that's still too much to pay for Beal, because Beal may never be the same again, guys. I just have to be honest. I'm a big Beal fan. I loved him in Washington. He was such a good player, and he did everything on both ends. Like, he was a good defender at minimum. Some days he was locking people up as well. Dude, he was a triple double threat every night, and I just don't see the same player anymore. His confidence looks shot. His shot doesn't look the same. And when you're asking for 2 first rounders for him and a commitment of 3 years at $55 million a year with a no trade clause, bro, that is so much to commit to. The reason it does make sense for the Warriors is because this matches up with into Steph's career, and I think Steph deserves to have the best chance to win at the end of his prime, which is like probably 2 more years max, and then Father Time will catch up to him. Not catch up, it'll just be like, he'll get old and he won't be able to do as much. He'll still be an excellent shooter, excellent off-ball defender, but his defense is really good. He's still has great reactions, still an excellent ball handler. He's one of the best players ever still. That is going to come to an end soon due to age. He's not going to be LeBron James. Nobody is. We'll never see this again, I don't think, what LeBron is doing. So I do think for that reason, maybe wait till the last day. If the Suns seriously can't make any other trade, then yeah, swipe and get Beal for like Moses Moody. I'm not making the salary workers also sus, because let me look and see. So we're talking about this, Moody, and they're probably going to have to give up Looney too or something. And that makes a lot of sense for the Suns to get Moody. But then, the Warriors are going to rely on center Draymond, who is very undersized and older now. No, they have TJD. Yeah. That would work. Yeah, they can afford to give him up, because Kerr's Post is an okay player. TJD definitely would have to be the starter at center, especially when they're playing other bigs. I'm a big fan of TJD. Big fan of him. Oof. It's tough. And then, like, the Suns getting Buddy. Yeah, that makes sense. So, the trade would be Beal for Schroeder, Anderson, Heald, possibly Looney, Moody, and of course there'd be a lot of other players coming in from the Suns or being cut. And then Golden State would give. Okay, so they would definitely have to give this up. If they wait till the last day, that's all I would give up if I'm the Warriors. Seriously, yeah, I'm not. I'm not giving up anything more than that because the Suns have to make a trade, and I think that is even this is a pretty steep price because you're giving back some players. Moody has value for sure as a younger player. I guess you could say Buddy has a little value too, so maybe they just do like 3 seconds. We'll see. I think the Suns would require a first for Beal though, or the front office probably won't do it just because of pure ego. But yeah, I think Beal either goes to the Warriors or uh the Heat. If I missed a team, please comment. I'll cover it. But I think that's it. I'm going to be putting up like the clips of this video, so it's not just like a fucking hour and 30-minute video that people will watch 2 minutes of. If you've watched this far, thank you very much. Drop a 2 in the comments so I could thank you, please. I greatly appreciate that. If you think I could do anything better besides my takes as far as like audio goes or anything production wise, let me know. I just wanted to say thank you very much, guys. I'm blessed to even have like this many people watching me and giving me a chance. It's a dream come true, and I'm nowhere near making it. I've made zero money off this so far, and it's been a big time investment. But I enjoy doing this, so I wouldn't even say it's already a worthwhile time investment for me. And thank you for all the positive comments recently. Like seriously, I really appreciate you guys, and take care. Enjoy life when you can. Don't get caught up on too much other bullshit. All right, peace, guys.